Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday on this last Friday of 2025. Can you believe how fast this year has gone by? It is stunning to me. And then I work on our annual report and I think, wow, a lot has been done in 2025, even through a lot of challenges. And I thought, what a better time than now to share with you everything that RI Elder Info has done. Now, as you all know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we could not do everything that I'm going to tell you about today without the support of our sponsors and our donors. So a huge thank you to Point 32 Health Foundation. This year, their support has been critical in helping us get a lot of our work completed, as has United Healthcare. Those individual groups have really enabled us to drive forward in a lot of our work. Now, as you know, every Friday, we have brought you Friday Friends. And that would not have been possible without the support of our friends over at McCarthy Law. Here's a message from Samantha and her team.
Here at McCarthy Law, we practice in the areas of estate planning, long-term care planning, elder care law, and residential real estate. Our focus is really on providing peace of mind to our clients.
If you're interested in scheduling a consultation with our office, you can feel free to reach out to us at 401-541-5540. You can also reach out via website at www.mccarthylawri.com. You also should check out our social media, both on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for some helpful tips and tricks.
So as you all know, we have a website, rielderinfo.com, and it went up live on October 19th of 2018. And every year, we have received more and more visitors. In 2025, we've had a 13% growth in visitors to our site. And people are engaging with the information. They're searching, they're reading, they're downloading, and it is making a difference in people's lives. Families don't just come to the website to browse. They come because they need answers. And one of our goals for 2026 is to update our website and make it even easier to use for all individuals. Even though right now it can be translated into most languages spoken in the state, our anticipated upgrades for 2026 will include the ability for you to talk to the website in whatever language you may speak and receive information back in your language. We want to ensure that everybody has access to the information and resources they need to remain independent in the community for as long as possible, whether that's for themselves or the person they're supporting as a caregiver, or for the professionals who are helping our friends and families navigate health and social service systems. We are really excited about this coming up in 2026. And I will have more information in the new year to share with you about what it is we're doing with the website. But you know, RI Elder Info isn't just a website. And that's one of the things I think that people sometimes don't realize is that we work at the intersection of healthcare, aging services, public benefits, community-based supports, policy, and systems change. Every week, we bring you Friday Friends, where we are focusing on other organizations that are doing things that you or someone you know needs to know about. 52, give or take, different guests. And I say give or take because some of those weeks, there's been really important topics that I have been the guest. But 52 weeks a year, we're here for you. We are looking for sponsors for 2026 to continue our work. We have reached tens of thousands of people across our social media platforms. I have folks coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you're Deb." Yes, I am. And please, if I have that deer in the headlights look when you come up to me, give me a hint, because sometimes I think, oh gosh, did I forget somebody's name? And then I feel really bad. So if you recognize me from Friday Friends, please say hi and let me know that that's where it is, because I would feel awful if I forgot your name. So please introduce yourself, say hi. I'm more than happy to speak to you. Except for that time that the lady interrupted me in the ladies' room to tell me how great it was that I talked about funeral planning. That one was a little weird, but otherwise, it's all good. Come say hi to me in the grocery store, the Walmart, wherever I might be. I appreciate it. You know, one of the things that we work really hard at is to keep our information in plain language so that everybody can understand what it is that we're talking about. We're not trying to talk scientific-y, researchy, because we want folks to understand in real life scenarios. You know, we had over 100,000 page views on our website. We had not only our website, our newsletter grew by over 900 people. We are so close to 1,000 new subscribers this year. If you're watching and you've not gone on the website to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, please do so, because I'm so close to having 1,000 new subscribers. As it is, we're just under 3,000 newsletter subscribers. 42%, give or take, open their email that I send out every week. I don't sell it. I don't spam you. None of that. I will share information and resources that are hot topics of the week. And there are a lot of anticipated changes coming up in 2026. And so it's really important that we all stay on top of things. You know, the other thing that we do that if you're a professional, you might already know this, but if you are not, you may not. We hold a monthly Zoom networking group called Community Collaborations for Seniors. We hold that every month, where professionals are able to share questions, concerns that they would like more knowledge about. And then we bring in speakers that will help educate and really work to break down those silos. You know, so often our individual groups, our individual agencies, they work in silos. And what we're trying to do is really cross through those silos and have everyone working collaboratively. So once a month, we get together. We have, give or take, 50 people every month who join us. One of the topics that came up, and it's a hot topic in all of the news, is the issue of older adults, immigration, and ICE. And we actually had an off-cycle meeting about this, because it is one of those topics that, for many of us, it is a new concern. And we want to make sure that our friends, our family, our neighbors are all in the right spot at the right time, and making sure that everybody complies with what the rules are. And how do we support one another in this environment? So we had a great conversation with an expert lawyer and immigration, so that as professionals, we know how to support our clients, our patients, our customers. It was a wonderful experience. We also had speakers from the Department of Human Services talking about the changes coming to the Medicaid program and SNAP. There are a lot of changes with the big, beautiful bill, also known as HR 1, that are really going to impact our older adults across socioeconomic statuses, across demographics. Another reason it's important to sign up for our newsletters. I'm talking about those changes, what to expect, what to prepare for. You know, we talk about dementia, we talk about housing and federal policy changes that are impacting older adults. It really is our opportunity to be a connector across systems. And I enjoy it. I enjoy hearing from the community. You know, I say anybody, anytime can call. Always happy to help. And one of the calls, several of the calls actually that have come through in 2025 have been from shelter providers homeless shelter providers. The prevalence of older adult homelessness has really skyrocketed, especially first-time homelessness for older adults. And one of the concerns that the shelter providers brought up are individuals who are coming to the shelters who are demonstrating behaviors consistent with dementia. And shelters are not healthcare providers. And dementia is a chronic illness, it's not an acute illness. And what seems to be happening is individuals are being sent to the hospital, but they're not being admitted because dementia is chronic, not acute. And we have this cycle that's happening. And I stumbled across this amazing narrative film. It is a drama. It is not a documentary. It's called Involuntary. And it is about the involuntary discharge of an older adult to homelessness. And the individual appears in the film to have dementia. We hosted a screening for that at the library back in October. We invited over 100 different experts on the topic from around the state. We had an expert panel from Dr. Vanjani, who is the medical director of Amos House Shelters, and Lori Light, the long-term care ombudsman, myself discussing guardianship and dementia and cognitive impairment. And it was moderated by Carol Costa of the Senior Agenda Coalition. And we had over 100 people register. Most of them actually came, which was amazing to see, including the Lieutenant Governor, Sabina Matos. And we invited every person in the room to provide 3 recommendations on how to solve this perplexing, challenging, heartbreaking issue. And what it did is it sparked additional conversations up at the State House. Representative Lauren Carson is looking into what are the regulations around discharges and discharge planning, and how do we work to overcome this situation for older adults. It's something that my initial goal was to raise awareness of discharges, involuntary discharges to homelessness, but it has become so much more than that, with an expectation of possible legislative changes and regulatory changes coming in 2026. And hopefully, these changes will lead to fewer older adults in shelter and help getting them into permanent, stable housing. Really proud of that work, actually. You know, we also collaborated with well over 60, probably much more than 60 different organizations around the state all year, between Friday Friends and Calling All Veterans Day and Calling All Women Warriors. We have connected thousands of people with information and resources that they need at just the right time. You know, there's been a lot of shift at the federal level in relation to diversity, equity, inclusion, those languages. And I just want to say, you know, for us, we remain committed to serving all human beings who are aging. That's every one of us. Diversity, equity, and inclusion are fundamental values that continue to guide our mission. It encompasses various aspects, including age, race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, ability, and socioeconomic status. We listen and learn from the communities we serve first and foremost, and we continue to strive to create inclusive environments where everyone feels welcome and respected and heard. It's our commitment to these principles that guides everything we do. We take it seriously that we are members of this community. You know, one of our other major accomplishments for 2025 is working with many colleges and universities. We have conducted a lot of research around guardianship and guardianship reform. It is a legal restriction on one's ability to make decisions for oneself. It is the most restrictive, and there's opportunities for improvement. So when you think about, we have about 22,000 Rhode Islanders over the age of 65 who are living with Alzheimer's or other related dementias. Thinking about how are their needs met when they're not able to express those needs, wants, and desires in a respectful way. It is something to consider when we look at guardianship reform. We discovered that there isn't a requirement for guardians to see the individual under guardianship. We've learned that when someone recovers, getting their rights restored really is a significant challenge. It is through the work of multiple interns from the colleges and universities that we have been able to gather information and learn that at least 2,200 individuals across the state are under guardianship, with likely more than 3,000. And I say with likely more than 3,000, one of the things that we found is this information isn't tracked. So if we're looking at how old are the people under guardianship, how long are they under guardianship, who are the guardians? Are they family? Are they attorneys? Are they professionals? That information is not tracked. And receiving that research data point was important as well. We also do fun things. We collaborated with New England Institute for Technology again, and we had 5 groups of students create resources that are direct hands-on information of how to do things when you have COPD or Parkinson's, or you're paralyzed on one side from a stroke. The students did an amazing job at creating resources because, when these things happen, a lot of times, you're in the hospital, you go to the rehab, maybe you get some home care with some PT and OT training, but eventually that comes to an end. The insurance stops. And then sometimes you're like, oh gosh, what do I do now? So the New England Institute of Tech students were able to create a lot of information and resource videos that you can find on the RI Elder Info website that can help you step by step how to handle some of these challenging situations. We partnered with Roger Williams University for their law student intern who was supervised by McCarthy Law for us. McCarthy Law donated a tremendous number of staff attorney time as well as their their paralegal time, so that as we're developing different resources for implementation legislative changes related to guardianship, the student was able to research other states' best practices, as well as how do we avoid abusive guardianships. So Roger Williams law students are absolutely amazing. We've had CCRI students look at what does it look like when an agency is a representative payee for someone, and what are the best practices around that. We are looking for funding in 2026 to continue our guardianship research because there is a lot more to be done. I mentioned Friday Friends, where we've reached thousands of folks. This right here, right now, is an opportunity for you to get your company's message out. We are accepting sponsorship applications. The other opportunity coming up is our 7th annual Calling All Veterans Day event, which will be taking place this summer. And before that will be our 5th Calling All Women Warriors virtual conference. We are accepting sponsorships for both of those as well. We're reaching tens of thousands of people on a regular basis. And you say, well, there's a lot of talk about nonprofits and how do they handle funds. It is all in our annual report that can be downloaded on our website. But in general, our organizational resources supported. Now, I've made a list, so I will read the list. Our programs and community outreach, so our educational events, our resource fairs, our veterans initiatives, as well as our professional convenings. Research and systems changes, our guardianship reform research, We have engaged with policymakers on many different topics to advocate for our older adults and raise community issues. Information infrastructure and technology. We're updating our website. Our newsletter has grown. Our digital platforms have expanded. And those all provide access to trusted information. It has also supported our organizational capacity. It has allowed for more coordination, training, and partnerships to ensure accuracy and sustainability. And we leverage our funding because we are a small organization. We leverage our funding by partnering with other organizations statewide, engaging with our student interns, like I had mentioned, as well as academic institutions. We receive dozens of hours of pro bono legal services from McCarthy Law, and we're participating in state and federal advisory and policy bodies. And it allows us to extend our impact beyond what direct service numbers alone would suggest. It's important that if you can, that you provide sponsorship, support, donations for RI Elder Info. As we head into 2026, many organizations are impacted by federal and state budget cuts. And while RI Elder Info does not receive federal and state budget funding, those budget cuts impacting other agencies means that the competition for the grants that we do apply for has become much greater. The other real world impact is as those agencies have reduced funding, they will have reduced staff. They will have fewer people able to help you or your loved one navigate the health and social service systems. And RI Elder Info is here. We have a large reach. You get a lot of bang for your buck with RI Elder Info. So we have reached tens of thousands of people this year. I am very proud of that fact, that we work hard with our friends, with our business associates, with our network, with our community to get people the information that they need when they need it, where they need it, and how they need it. I really look forward to doing this again and expanding our work in 2026. As we look ahead to 2026, I anticipate continued changes at both the state and federal levels that are going to impact our older adults, our caregivers, and the systems that serve them. RI Elder Info will remain focused on helping individuals, families, professionals, and decision makers understand these changes and navigate them effectively so that policy shifts and systems transitions do not create unnecessary confusion or harm. We're here for you. Reach out. If you see us, say hi, drop a comment below. If you can, go on our website and hit the donate button. If you'd like to sponsor Friday Friends or one of our events, reach out. We will be more than happy to have that conversation with you. Many hands make the load light. You can help us reach even more people in need in 2026. I look forward to seeing you all again next year. In the meantime, be well and be kind.